consumed him. He was a world figure, a giant striding across the land, owner of the label toughest man in the world. And he wore his title well until his personal life went careening out of control.
Mike Tyson began 1988 by knocking the once great Larry Holmes into retirement. Tyson was every inch the champion, inside the ring. In that hermetically sealed world, he dominated with a singularity that seemed unequal. But then Tyson stepped out of his protective shield. By February, he had married the actress Robin Givens. In March, the couple went globetrotting. Tyson fought and won in Japan. Tyson was a world figure, a giant striding across the land. He was famous. He had affection, a wife who was a Sarah Lawrence graduate, and a mother-in-law. He had a family.
When you have a family, it just changed you completely. You know what I mean? I used to always have a girlfriend. I don't even want to look at another woman.
And the wife and mother-in-law picked out a New Jersey mansion, but the couple would not live happily ever after there. Tyson, reportedly arguing with Givens, wrecked his $180,000 car and then gave it away to two cops. Givens had a miscarriage, and whispers grew louder. Tyson had beaten her. Fame and fortune was a double-edged sword. But in June, Tyson demolished Michael Spinks, unified the heavyweight title, made over $20 million, and talked of retirement. Meanwhile, fight promoter Don King kept a perpetual hand in the matter, while supposedly trying to wrest control of Tyson's career. Then Tyson took his manager, Bill Caton, to court, with wife Robin more than pitching in to help.
And also, it's very clear now that the fighter, in this case Mike Tyson, the manager Bill Caton works for Mike Tyson. That's the way it should be.
If I'd never been involved with my girlfriend, then my wife, Robin Givens, I would have never been aware, and my eyes would have never been open to what was happening.
But what happened was uproar. In August, he broke his hand in a Harlem street fight with a former opponent. In September, Tyson reportedly threatened to kill his wife, then himself, and smashed another car into a tree. But Tyson denied the suicide attempt and went with Givens, who was working on location to Moscow, where Tyson allegedly suffered wild mood swings and unleashed his anger physically on Givens. Back home, Givens said Tyson was manic depressive. He then went on another emotional rampage in the mansion, and soon after, Givens left him.
There is violence, there's been continued violence, and she fears for her safety.
And Tyson lashed back.
But she wants to get on front cover of the magazines and things. You know, I'm the heavyweight champ of the world, like you said. I don't need any publicity. You know, in Hollywood, you make money on being the best person or the worst person, and she's making the most money on being the bitch in Hollywood.
And Tyson and Givens and the mother-in-law became a parody, even in song. But Givens, whose image was at low ebb now, said she didn't want a dime from the divorce. And Tyson now recalls his life with her in bittersweet terms.
I like being married the times when they were good, and I even dealt with the times when they weren't good. I jumped in a situation totally emotional. I just jumped in emotional, and I just wanted someone to love somebody and just be a regular guy, and I didn't understand the responsibility of the situation.
But Tyson then effected another separation. He fired his longtime trainer and friend.
I want my fighter back, you know what I mean? He's my fighter, and me and him were like, you know, peanut butter and jelly, you know what I mean? Salt and pepper. But he's getting bad advice. You know, he wants to, you know, he's turned his back on the people that helped him get there.
But Tyson couldn't forget Givens. He flew to Vancouver last month to see her on location and lashed out at the inquiring media who followed.
You know, it was nice to have him here and watching, and that was nice. And it really had nothing to do with what we were doing here, which was work. I mean, we were working here.
On Valentine's Day, Givens and Tyson were officially divorced. She blames the breakup on Don King.
Oh, free at last, thank God Almighty, it's free at last.
But Givens knows life goes on.
Oh, we're fine. Everybody's fine.
And Tyson says he's been reborn. He was baptized with King at his side in November. And he vows now there's going to be life after boxing for him.
No one ever keeps the title. You know, you never keep it. And then one day, either two things happen. I'll lose, or else I'll retire undefeated. And when that's over, my life as a person continues to go, and I continue to always be successful. You know, because my frame of mind and character, I refuse to after boxing's over, you know what I mean, that's all I was good for, you know what I mean? I was like a grape on the grapevine, and then I get plucked.
Well, coming up, a conversation with Mike Tyson on his life, on the fight coming up in just about an hour, and we'll be joined by Don King, a close advisor to Mike Tyson, and the man many say controls the heavyweight division in boxing. It's all ahead here in Las Vegas right after this. That cackling you hear in the background is Don King, Mike Tyson's friend and advisor. But Mike Tyson's astonishing ascent to the heavyweight title was a breathtaking athletic accomplishment. But his notoriety outside the ring made him a public figure who evokes reaction from non-sports fans. Mike Tyson has appeared confident and even happy this week in Las Vegas. He told me he's trying to put his recent problems behind him. And we talked earlier in the week about his turmoil and about tonight's opponent, Frank Bruno.
Well, you know, he's a good fighter, he's a strong puncher, and he's #1 contender in the world, you know what I mean? And like, I guess besides me, I guess he's the best fighter in the world. And so, you know what I mean, that has to be a formidable threat.
What do you expect him to do? A collision fight? I mean, you know where he is. Well, he stands erect.
Whatever the situation is, I'll be prepared for it, whatever it is.
It's the best part of being heavyweight champion of the world for you. What do you like most? You get your friends around you, I see, but what makes you happiest?
Well, you know, just going there fighting, putting a good show.
What about all of this? We got lights, we got cameras, we got people flooded here at the Hilton just to get a glimpse of the champion. Do you like fame, and how do you handle it?
Well, of course I like it. I mean, they want to say they don't like it, and they only do it because they love the sport. I mean, everybody wants the pat on the back. There's nothing like it, you know what I mean? All the money in the world couldn't, you know what I mean, take the place of that. It's just, just a feeling of accomplishment and being respected by your peers.
Customato, of course, taught you, he predicted what you would be going through, including some turbulence at times. What did he say that helps you now?
It's just funny that, you know, always, this is one of my mottos I always said, that Cuss would say, like the good times and the bad times, they don't last forever, they'll go away. So he used to tell me that, and I always say, I just can't wait till tomorrow because it's a new day, it starts over.
Well, what's it like being a single guy again?
I mean,
it's been so long for me, I couldn't tell you.
It's great that, you know, I mean, everything's over, but, you know, it hurts because it's the way it ended. I mean, she never had to end it. If the situation should have just, it shouldn't have been a vindictive coincidence. It should have just been over with. You know what I mean? You go your way, I go mine. It didn't have to be drawn out. But like I said, it's behind me.
Can you still be friends?
Well, I'm happy, and I'm sure she's happy also.
Does any of this ever get old to you?
Not really, because it's always exciting. You know what I mean? It's very exciting.
What about anything we should know about you that we don't? I mean, we've seen Mike Tyson, and then I hear a lot of the same answers, and you hear a lot of the same questions, but you got a free minute of air here on CNN. Is there anything you want to either clear the air about or maybe let us in on that we don't know about you that maybe we should?
No, not at all. It's just whatever you say about Mike Tyson, I mean, personally, which really don't concern. It's just that, that when you read these stories that sports writers write about your personal life, you know what I mean? It's like they want to write for the National Enquirer or Star Magazine. I mean, these guys that say they're sports writers. You know what I mean? You know, when you think about Gatlin Rice and guys like Damian Runyon and these guys and Red Smith, and I read the articles and they never dwelled on the fighters' personal life or anything. The only thing they did, they compliment the fighters. You know what I mean? They protected the fighters. You know, you look at sports writers and you think they're writing for some kind of gossip or scandal sheet. I mean, it's very, you know, it's embarrassing. It should be embarrassing to the writers and the paper.
Well, you seem to have gotten through it okay, Mike.
Hey, I'm going to always be all right.
We'll talk to you soon. You know, we have the same birthday we were talking. I mean, I'm a little bit older than you, and I think I'm over the hill for a title shot. But we'll see you Saturday, and good luck, and thanks for being with us, champ.
Thank you, Nick.
And right now, Mike Tyson's in the dressing room, a couple of 100 feet away, getting ready to defend the title against Frank Bruno. Don King is with me. Don, you're the advisor with Mike Tyson, friend of his. Is this a new era for him, Don?
Yes, it is. This is a Tyson era. This young man is devastating inside the ring. He's a wholesome, spiritual, good human being outside the ring, and it's just a privilege for me to be with him.
Have you worked on consciously maybe altering his image?
I contribute to Mike Tyson, giving him the pro and con of situations and allowing him the courtesy of making a decision for himself. And he's been growing in maturity. He's growing spiritually. As you know, he got baptized in the church. He accepted Jesus Christ as his Savior. And all the way around, his whole countenance has become altogether different. The young man is just a dynamite young guy.
Don, he said he's put the divorce behind him and Robin Givens, and yet Robin Givens just a few days ago said that she blamed the marriage on you. How do you react to that?
Well, there's really no reaction to be with that. I think the American public, she's manipulated them. She manipulated Tyson, and then they gave the answer that she's the most hated woman in the United States. So I don't even feel that I should, comment on what she said. Everyone knows the actions and what happened. All I can say is that when Tyson needed somebody, I was there to help him, and I did everything I could.
Did he come to you? He had a manager and such. And, I mean, set the record straight for us, Don.
Yes, he came to me. I've never went to Mike Tyson, and every time that I ever talked to him, he came to me. I've never wanted to be his manager. I only wanted to be his promoter, which I was, even by the consent of his managers, Jim Jacobs and Bill Caton. And I never tried to do anything to betray the fiduciary trust and the trust that they give me with him. However, at the untimely death of Jim Jacobs, who was really a dear friend of mine, Bill Caton became, he went berserk. And so he denounced me in public. He perpetuated all type of stories. However, that's the way it goes, but I dealt with it. And Tyson always came to me. I brought Tyson back to him 3 times when he left. It was disgruntled. I brought him back. So, but he never gave me any credit for any of that, and needless to say, when he fired me publicly, then I could no longer be with him.
Well, Don, what happens with Mike Tyson now? When we look at the competition, it's almost a double-edged sword. The man's a 9-to-1 favorite. There's nobody out there. I mean, he obviously stamps his way of doing things on the heavyweight division. There's nobody close to him. Is it a problem promoting the fights? I mean, because they're so one-sided?
No, not at all. Look around you. You're going to have a sellout crowd here because boxing is so unpredictable, and that's what people come to see, the big punch, the explosive punch in boxing. He will never have trouble on the contrary of getting an opponent. Yesterday's nobody is tomorrow's somebody. And you never know what's going to happen in the ring when 2 guys are physically honed and sharp and weighing over 200 pounds. I think that what the public will understand about Mike Tyson, that he's a competitor. He gives them their money's worth. He comes to do what his job is set out to do, and he does it most admirably. And I think this is what's going to carry the day with him. It will always be challengers that will say, I can take him, I can take him. And we ain't going to have no trouble finding them. Whether their credibility or their believability, that's a case of a horse of another color. However, odds have never won the fight. Fighters win fights. So Tyson will never listen to those things about 9-to-1. He will be prepared at all times to make certain that whoever is, if it's a baby, he will take care of his business.
Don King, pleasure having you with us.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
And good luck
Charles.
Down the road with Mike Tyson.
Thank you so very much.
We'll be back with more from Las Vegas after
Only in
this.
America.
People run me down and put me down and say I don't stand a chance, but I'm a human being, I mean, I've got a little bit of pride, I've got a little bit of dignity. There's 2,000 English people coming over here, my lady's coming over here, my mum's coming over here, and I don't want to go in there and embarrass myself.
Where Mike Tyson is an hour away from doing what he does best, fighting. And the world, as usual, is digesting every morsel and watching every move because Mike Tyson provides a fascination for us. He sprang from poverty, desperation, and depression, all the way to the pinnacle of a profession that alternately excites and frightens many of us. Mike Tyson is at once simple yet complex, beautifully accomplished at what he does, yet alarmingly rough around the edges at other times. A 22-year-old man-child fighting to find his way in life and to make his name in history. And while he's battled, Mike Tyson's given us a keen sense of the double-edged sword of success and provided a thrill a minute along the way. The bell sounds for round 1 in just about an hour, and we'll be at ringside then and invite you to join us here in Las Vegas for the complete story of the fight, plus interviews from Frank Bruno and Mike Tyson when the battle is done. It all happens on CNN Sports tonight at 11:30 Eastern Time, and we'll see you then. For now, I'm Nick Charles in Las Vegas.